Indicating a little bit of extra bounce, David Milan. Indicating a little bit of extra bounce, David Milan. 83.5, 83.5 miles an hour.
Good bounce. The surface just had to adjust last moment.
Two on this time. Average score in internationals, T20 internationals here in Emirates Old Trafford. Batting first is 153, and in the blast it's 155, so that's surprising. It is a big outfield. Just get the impression that modern day T20 teams are looking for 180s.
Yeah, using that extra bit of bounce. Good line here. They haven't done is given England anything to be able to really free the arms. They have to try and manufacture space to get out the shot. Captain happy.
Change of ends for Shaheen. General knowledge quiz, picture quiz, quick fire quiz, music quiz, films.
Right, Tom Banton, this is in the role you play for Somerset and around the world in T20 leagues. What have you got? Well, that was pretty special.
Okay, well, the man of the moment is in the player zone, and I think Ebony is going to be talking to him.
Thanks, well, Tom. Nice knock in the middle, your first half century in T20 cricket. What was it like being out there?
Yeah, it was good fun. I struggled to begin with. I think they bowled quite nicely. And then I just backed myself when the spinners came on. There was a small boundary on the one side. And then he went a bit slower and wider, which I tried to get over. But yeah, no, he bowled nicely in the middle.
How was the actual wicket playing? Obviously, there's been a lot of rain, so it hasn't quite had the preparation it like. Was it coming onto the bat okay?
It was a bit tennis bally, a bit slow to begin with, and then it got better. I think pace on was quite nice, and then when they took the pace off, it was quite difficult.
What was the partnership? It seems like you and Milan got a nice operation going there, 71 between you. What was it like with the two of you?
Yeah, it was good. We like I said, we started a bit slowly. They bowled very well to begin with, so we just said, got to respect their good balls, then obviously try and put away the bad ones and just reduce the dot balls.
Generally, how have you found being in the bubble? Obviously, it's very different to a traditional season. Have you enjoyed the prospects and the preparation?
Yeah, it's been good. There's been a lot of Call of Duty played in my room, being up late playing that. But no, it's been really good. Obviously, it's quite difficult sitting in your hotel room and not being able to do much. But no, it's been good fun, and yeah, the boys have been very good. Who's
winning on Call of Duty, by the way?
Me, TC and Jason Roy have got a nice little trio going, so we're playing nicely at the moment.
Well, obviously we're frustrated by rain at the moment, but what did you feel like is a good score, sort of poised on 131, but what sort of score do you feel was right on that sort of wicket?
Probably 170, 180. Disappointing to lose a few wickets in the last few overs, but backing the boys to get a few more runs.
And of course now just frustration, so guessing you'll be desperate to get back out there. I don't know what the weather's looking like from your perspective.
Yeah, I think a few of the guys said there'll be about 20 minutes of rain, then hopefully it'll pass over and then we get back out there and win the game.
All right, Tom, well, we hope you get back out there. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, very well played to Tom Banton. I think he said there 170, 180 would be a good score, so they're probably feeling they're a little bit behind. Now, they may get out there again. Hopefully they will. We've got probably about 25 minutes. I think probably 5 minutes has elapsed since I said 30 minutes. So they could get back out there. Looking a little grim though, isn't it? Behind us, it's actually got a little bit heavier, the rain, so perhaps we don't have to just sit tight for a little while. Let's just build a bit more on that chat with Tom Banton. How does he get in there? How do England look at that top three?
Well, this is the thing. There's probably what you're looking at, who's going to be the spare batsman. You can pretty much say who's going to be England's top six in a way when Stokes comes back in. But I personally wouldn't write off Joe Root either, especially the best player. We were both out at the World T20 in 2016. And he was the best player for me in that tournament for England because he was the one under pressure. He might not do it day in, day out in domestic T20 when he was playing in the Big Bash, batting at 4. But actually, when the World Cup comes around out in India, he's the type of player that I might want coming in at 3. He's another one, like Milan. If he's not going to bat in the top 3, there's no point having him. He's not a number 4, 5 or 6. So then I wouldn't go too far away from their white ball 50-over lineup where you got Roy, you got Bairstow, you got Root, then Stokes, Morgan, people like that. And I would float Josh Buttler. So as soon as there's 10 overs left, then, or even 12 overs left, Josh Buttler comes in and does what only Josh Buttler can do. There's not many in the world that can play in those middle overs and at the end like Josh Buttler. And then you're looking at, right, is Banton the spare batsman? Is it Sam Billings? You know, and then you look at, like today, you can't give up too many opportunities. So a runner ball from Milan, as good as he's played before in T20 cricket, well, Tom Banton might have just gone up that pecking order on you there. So you cannot, there's so many good white ball batsmen, there's so many good opening batsmen in white ball cricket that someone like that is going to go ahead of you pretty quickly if you're Tom Banton in Milan.
Right, let's get a view from the commentary box, because I think Bumble is going to join us. Bumble, what do you got to say on this?
Well, it's a terrific debate, and that name that comes up every time is Joe Root. Now, he's England's Test match captain, and I think the management have got to really look after him. What you see is what you get from Joe Root, and going forward in T20 cricket, there's no way that England would say, well, we need to have a look at Joe Root. They know exactly what they're going to get, and I think the management will have to box clever and rest him when it's necessary, and it may be rested from T20 cricket, which gives the opportunity to these young lads like Tom Banton to get real experience before the World Cup. And of course they're building for that World Cup, but Joe Root is the spotlight player in my opinion. There's no reason to say he doesn't play, but you don't need to play him all the time because he's the Test captain, and you guys know that he's very, very demanding being that. So the management and the coaching staff have really got to take care of Joe Root. He'll want to play everything, and there'll be a time when you've got to say, Joe, get yourself away, spend a bit of time with the family. And in T20 cricket, I think that's a great opportunity, because you know what you're going to get from him if you say, right, Joe, come back, you're playing T20.
Well, I'll come back to you on that. I mean, you were coach when I played. You had a big say in the team as well. And we did it at the top of the show. They've got 21 games. OK, there may be 1 or 2 games they miss out on because of COVID. We don't know what's going to happen. But do you think now is the time? And it can get a bit confusing for us, for viewers, and perhaps even for the players themselves, when you talk about resting. I mean, is the lad dropped? Is he part of England's future going forward with T20 cricket or not? Because if he's not, is it simple enough to say, we don't think you're part of it, Joe, let's move in a different direction?
Well, I would certainly say that he is part of it, but I come back to that management and having to be really careful with the England Test captain. He's got a heck of a lot on his plate, and I would say that he's a squad player. He's up there as and when you want to play him. He will want to play all the time. But let's not lose track of the fact that this team in one-day cricket, from all accounts, is Owen Morgan's. Owen Morgan is the captain of the one-day team and the T20 team. He gets what he wants. And he will look at it very, very carefully of what's best for the team. But I'm going to keep throwing it back. I'd always look at what's best for the welfare of the player. And we're talking about Joe Root here, the England captain.
I think we can have a look at some numbers actually, because we can throw them up. It may surprise a few people. It's actually numbers in T20 cricket are not bad at all, and they're comparable with some very decent players. So what is that? 35, nearly 36 with the bat for England. Strike rate's 126, which is the same for Yorkshire, and well, that's pretty decent, isn't it?
I'd completely discount the Sydney Thunder because he was batting 4 then, and Joe Root, same with Kane Williamson, who I think is a fantastic player. You need one player like that. You don't have 2, you don't have 3, anything. You just might need one player who everyone else can bat around. Everyone else can go and play the shots, which is what happened in the World T20 in 2016. You remember the game against South Africa. England lost to the West Indies. Chris Gayle smashed them around at the Wankhede Stadium, if I say that correctly. And Joe Root, South Africa got 220 odd then, or something like that. And Joe Root was the one who came and played the innings of note. Joe Root was the one in the final when England, we saw a stat here that this is their lowest power play since the 2016 final, when they got in a bit of trouble. Jason Roy got LBW or bowled first ball, but Root was the one. When you're under pressure, when you're in a must-win game, like the 50 over World Cup, it's your big players that stand up, the likes of Stokes, the likes of Buttler. And then Butler's an interesting one, because if he does open, then there's almost no room for Joe Root, because Buttler opens, then you have him with Roy probably, and then Bairstow goes 3, then Morgan, and then you're not looking at a Joe Root for a number 5. You're looking at a Billings, a Denley, whoever else it might be. I don't particularly think Banton's necessarily the person to do that. But then there's a different type of cricketer that you want. So Butler's quite key in all of this, where they see him fitting.
The one person you haven't mentioned, which we're going to talk about in a minute or so, is Alex Hales and his situation. But before we do, and get back to your Joe, I just want to finish off. I mean, the World T20 is in India, the next one. I mean, The Australian one, which was due to be in, a couple of months' time, that's now in 2022. So 2021 is the next in India. And you were just mentioning there how useful he might be. Does Owen Morgan, do the selectors, do they need to take that into account as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no point. They were trying to plan for Australia. Now they've got a bit more time to plan for India. So you're starting to look, who's the bowlers that can run up and bowl in those types of conditions? Who are the spinners that you're going to use? All right, Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid. So who's going to be your third spinner? So all these things, you've got to completely, if I get it out, take into account where you're playing against teams like India, who are at home, obviously, in those conditions. Who is best to go and do that and win the World T20 World Cup?
Bumble, you're back. What do you got for us?
It's that Joe Root debate, and I'll come in again and say that there's no question that Joe Root doesn't know his role. He knows exactly what's required of him if he plays T20 cricket. And so in that build-up, you can give players experience like Banton, who are going to India, Joe Root will definitely go to India. He's a wonderful player of spin. But there'll be no problem in saying, Joe Root, you're playing in this game. And there's no problem also in we think, the England management as a whole, that you need a rest. And I think that is absolutely so important for the England Test captain, and in particular for Joe Root. He'll have no problem when he gets the nod, look, you're in, you're playing T20. But they will know when he's ready, and he will know as well. He looks tired from time to time, and he will be.
Well, that debate will rage on and on, I'm sure. Everyone has
right
their
up
opinion.
there, by the way, in
yeah,
that
I was going to say, he's got his
studio.
Yeah, he's got his gear on. He's looking pretty dapper as well, Bumble. Right, I think he's back in. Come on, what more?
Well, it's just getting too hot up here. Can you put the aircon on, pal? Leave them lads down there.
He'll be strobing, won't he, soon, with all that gear? Well, he's sensible, Bumble, because we should all be up there, really. I mean, it's pretty miserable out there. It's unpleasant. The rain is still falling. Well, that's pretty steady. Nothing more than that. Umpires are out there. The groundsmen have done a terrific job. They really have over the last couple of days. I've been here for a couple of days and it's done nothing really but rain. So they've done a great job even to get us starting on time. But full covers on, yeah, that sort of tells its own story really. But it did look in a bit grim yonder. But let's hope that moves away quickly. It looks unlikely now that England are going to get to complete their innings. But let's just hope we get some more cricket throughout the evening. Let us continue our chat about England's top order. We must talk about Alex Hales. Do you think, I mean, clearly Morgan is not going to bring him back as yet. We could have brought him in here, they had a replacement for Jason Roy, but they've decided not to do that. Do you think at some point down the line, before this next World T20, that Alex Hales will get another opportunity?
Don't know if he will, to be honest, because for the reason that we're speaking about, how does he get an opportunity? How do you force your way into that side? I mean, Milan's stats are ridiculous. And at this point in time, it doesn't look like, I can't see how you get him into it. So Alex Hales, by his own doing, has made a horrendous mistake at the absolutely worst time he could have possibly done it, because there's so many people that have just gone ahead of him now. He's a fantastic player, but, you know, who are you going to leave out for him at the moment? And I, Morgan's, what he said is that the trust has been severely damaged. So when you put all of that together with the lack of opportunity, how does he get in that side? We're talking about a youngster like Tom Banton. How does he get in the side? So Alex Hales has done it just at the wrong time. Had there not been a run of players like Banton, like Milan, like all these batsmen that are around, then maybe he would have had an opportunity by now. The fact is, it's very hard to see how he does.
If you were picking top 6 tomorrow of talented England players that you feel are ready to play T20 one-day international cricket right now, would you not include Alex Hales in that top 5 or top 4?
No, I can't include Tom Banton in that. I said you got the likes of Butler. Well, I'll go through my side. If you want, you'd almost have Roy, Bairstow, Root, Morgan, Stokes, Butler, then Moeen Ali, then Adil in the bowlers. So I don't see how he gets in that. Then you got Banton, then you got Milan, then there's Sam Billings, who played very well against Ireland, then you've got Joe Denley as well, who's here. So I don't see how Alex Hales gets close to that. He's made a serious error of his own doing at absolutely the worst time you could have done it as a white ball batsman. You can't afford to give opportunities to players at this time. The same with Milan here. Milan's played very, very well, but he's gone at a run of ball 23 or whatever it was, and Tom Banton's gone and smashed a very good attack out the park. So straight away, Banton's gone ahead of him. And Milan is a fantastic T20 player. You can't afford to make a mistake.
I suppose it's also bad news for James Vince when you think, you know, the way the side is structuring itself now and these players coming in. James Vince missed out here. He played against Ireland, didn't do great. It doesn't look great for him moving forward now.
No, but he's had enough opportunities. In my opinion, James Vince is someone that has had enough chances to go out there and stake a claim and make one of these spots his own. Remember Johnny Bairstow? When Johnny Bairstow, it was Hales and Roy all the time, and Johnny Bairstow got one opportunity before the World Cup, 2 years maybe before the World Cup, and I remember him, I think Jason Roy might have thrown one away, just got a 60 and got out, and Johnny Bairstow went in at number 3 and he got 100. He took that opportunity because he's that good a player. You cannot afford to just slip up at any stage, whether it's off the field or on the field, in this white ball side. That's why they're the 50 over world champions, because they're the best in the world.
What about the bowlers? David Willey today. You can think Jordan's back. You can think no Archer, no Wood, no Stokes, no Wokes. I mean, there's probably no Curran, Sam Curran. I mean, you could probably put, 10 names on a piece of paper and try and pick 4 out of them?
Yeah, not easy to get. I mean, what I would say is that absolutely nailed on in T20 for India, Rashid and Moeen Ali. They're the two. I mean, Root can come in as well and do a little bit there, like when he got Chris Gale out in the final. And then you think Archer's going to be a dead cert. You've got Stokes who can do a bit. Jordan does very well at the death. Mark Wood. So you're starting to see there's only 1 or 2 spots coming up in that. Could be David Willey, could be Topley. So when they get their opportunity, if the weather ever ggets better, I mean, 2020's just been the worst year on history, hasn't it, at the moment? But if it does and you get your chance, make sure you take it.
Do you think, based on what you just said there about conditions in India, and you mentioned Topley and the likes of the sort of pace-off bowlers, do you think now they're going to come into contention? Because the planning for the last year will have been Australian wickets, pace bowlers, Archer, Wood. We need that extra pace zipping off the surface. But actually now we've got to start reassessing and thinking what we need in a year's time.
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, they're almost one or the other, aren't they? Topley or Willey. And the left arm angle is a bonus that people generally like. David Willey as well, out in India, bowled pretty well in that World T20, swinging that new ball. So, look, at some stage you're going to get an opportunity and you've got to be able to, and someone like David Willey, as he always knows and is trying to do, has got to be more than just someone who can swing that new ball. Runs that he got in that Ireland series will be crucial for him, because all of a sudden, it's often, as we've seen so many times from Carlos Brathwaite, the sixes that he hit, it's not often the guy who's 1, 2, 3 or 4 that wins you the game or is there to win you the game under pressure at the end. It's one of those bowlers who can bat a little bit. So that's another string to David Willey's bow that might put him ahead of someone else.
All those questions will be answered at some point in the next year or so. Before we go to a break, because I know you're absolutely freezing and you're very jealous of Bumble being up there. He's probably got his coat on by now. What did we think about Pakistan, and particularly the way they started the innings?
I think Pakistan, I've been so impressed with Pakistan throughout the Test series and here today, because bear in mind, I mean, I'm cold here. You can imagine how cold the Pakistani bowlers and fielders must have been. I like the look of it. I think they're a really emerging team. I thought in the Test series, I mean, arguably, had they, as Azhar Ali captained better on that last day, they might have been 1-0 up in that Test series going into those 2 games. I thought they were, with the rain that was happening in the second Test match, that would have been an interesting game that was in the balance. And then the third Test was England's. And then you look here, you're starting to see a good mix of young players coming through with a class act in Babar Azam. So then you're starting to see the makings of a very good Pakistan team in the years to come.
But they've also had, 3 or 4 weeks where they've been able to just think about T20 cricket practice. I mean, you think of a calendar year where you play that much cricket and you're going from format to format. You don't really get much chance to focus on T20 cricket, certainly for an extended period.
Yeah, there's nothing else you can do, is there? Down at Southampton, we used to see them. I used to watch them get out of my room, and then the Pakistan 2020 players would be walking over to practice. They were practicing in the light that England and Pakistan Test players weren't able to play in. So, look, that they are, and Pakistan will, on their day, will beat anyone. And when that World T20 comes around, you just want Pakistan to be in that moments where they're finding form, like the Champions Trophy, 3 or 4 years ago. They'll always turn up with a team that can beat anyone on their day.
Right, you better go inside.
Thank you.
Leave it there. You're cold enough. England 131 for 6. I think it's fair to assume, because of what you can see on your screen, that England aren't going to resume their innings. So that probably is the end for England. But we can just hope that we get some more cricket at some point. And so it's not looking great yonder, but let's hope we get something at some point. Quick break. Hopefully we'll have some better news on the back of it.
Save up to 60% on your debt. IRS tax settlements, pennies over dollars. One of the most reliable debt settlement companies in North America. Not even a single penny charged by us until your debt is settled. For U.S. and Canada, call 888-888-9914.
11 IPL starts 19th September live on Willow. Australia Tour of England, live and exclusive on Willow. Dream 11 IPL starts 19th September live on Willow. Pakistan Tour of England, live and exclusive on Willow, in association with Daawat, the finest basmati rice, perfectly selected, perfectly aged.
Well, the weather hasn't improved over the last few minutes. It's still very steady rain, let's put it that way. The covers are on, the groundsmen are waiting for the rain to pass, but it does look a little bit bleak. So that is the scene currently. 1 minute past 8 is when we start to lose overs, so that's going to come up very shortly. So I think we're fair to assume that England's innings is closed, and it's going to close on 131 for 6. So Duckworth Lewis, if we get back out there, will adjust that score somewhat. 71 for Banton, he played really nice. He struggled a little bit early on, but Pakistan's bowlers are very good. 23 for Milan, and Billings and Jordan there, so not completing the innings. Thanks to the rain. Imad Wasim was excellent, as he has been for some time with the new ball. The spin, 2 for 31. A couple of wickets for Shadab as well, and a wicket for Iftikhar Ahmed. So whilst we wait and hope that we can get some cricket again, let's go back to early July when cricket went behind closed doors.
The captains and the man of the match are here. Rather odd to interview this at distance. I wanted to ask you about the surreal experience of playing a test match in an empty stadium. You're going to have to repeat it during this summer, but I should imagine you missed something today trying to defend a small total.
You're right in the sense that it was a bit strange. Obviously, we're used to playing in front of a lot more people than Sky TV producers and commentators. But from a whole, point of getting cricket back onto the screens for people, it's been amazing to be involved in that.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone.
After tea, the first drinks break, we started to get a whiff that something might be happening.
England's test series against Sri Lanka has been postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic.
I think we made a very difficult decision, but the right decision. The players and the staff's well-being and health is paramount.
I won't lie, I was worried coming into the week. You're never quite sure how it's going to go. Fantastic effort from everybody to get this test match on.
The entire cricket family has pulled together incredibly well here.
Behind closed doors, that is our only option this year.
Roll D, Megs, Kiwardi.
Hello and welcome to what's a very special test match for a number of reasons. And England, indeed the sport, owes a huge debt of gratitude to West Indies for coming over for this tour. No crowds, of course, sadly, but it's our privilege to bring you this broadcast. And as you can see from these pictures, we will, of course, be socially distant at all times.
cricket is synonymous with summer, and at one point we were contemplating not even having a season. You know, we got to a point now where we've got 3 months worth of cricket coming up, and I think for us that's absolutely essential.
It's incredible work that the ECB have done to get this game on, and fingers crossed for all those people who've done that hard work, and for West Indies and England who are about to step out onto the field. Fingers crossed everything goes well. People will be tuning in from all over the world to see what a biosecure, behind closed doors test match looks like.
So 2-minute chats max. Thank you.
It's been an incredible journey. Obviously, when we went into lockdown, one of the big challenges was thinking about what cricket we might or might not have this season. And so we've had tens, hundreds of meetings perhaps with ECB to try and plan and get this series on. ECB have been amazing.
We've got a really fantastic team at the ECB that work on a daily basis with government, and there's continual dialogue going on between ourselves, between the chief medical officers and government. That has got us to where we currently are now, and I think it's going to be fantastic for the summer.
I always felt that behind closed doors was an opportunity. It's not an opportunity that you really want to explore, but the fact that there was no crowd, we had a few decisions that we had to make, and so the technical people at Sky have done an amazing job.
With the help of my little friend Dave the robot, I'm now going to conduct the toss from the stand, so this is a new one for all of us.
Back in June, when we thought cricket was going to become behind closed doors, Sky came to us and said, what can we do different? One of the big problems was social distancing, number of people on site. So the one thing that Sky wanted to do was, could they do the toss without anyone on the pitch? We went away and we came up with 7 or 8 ideas. The main one, I would say, is backhand drive. That is the RC buggy with a camera mounted on the bottom.
Hello, Ali. This is Will talking through the speaker on the buggy. Have you got the mics down there, Ali? Yeah.
So we came up with this idea of having a foldback speaker on the system, so your presenter could talk to the player like normal. He can see a monitor, so he's not uncomfortable. He picks up a mic and he does the interview as a two-way.
England have won the toss. You can't do that, Ben. Social distancing and all that. Never mind, sanitise those hands. Just come over to the robot. You've won the toss, what are you going to do and why?
We're going to have a bat, mate. Reasons being trying to get the best conditions out of it. Obviously the overheads here, there was a little bit of discussion around it, but that didn't change our initial thought process with the bat.
A lot of hard work, and I think it might have paid off. Fingers crossed we can get it back into safety.
Gone. The nip backer, an absolute beauty, and Gabriel has 2, and that last one was over 90 miles per hour.
It is quite odd that the crowd noise is just not there. It's taken some getting used to.
Sport relies on crowd for atmosphere, for energy, and the players and television feed off that.
Years gone by, normal summers, when a wicket fell or somebody hit a 4, you could just say, oh, fantastic shot, and the cameras would cut to the crowd and you'd see the celebrations in the crowd and that sort of a thing. And you'd let the pictures do the talking. Now there are no real pictures to do that talking, so you have to be a little bit more involved as a commentator.
Down the gap again, down to third man. Beefy, where are you?
We've all done a bit of domestic cricket where there's not much crowd in, and I quite enjoy the sort of calmness and serenity of the place, really. It's game of cricket, sort of old-fashioned game of cricket. There's a bit of difference when a boundary or a wicket, that roar in the background. I know the viewer at home has that sort of Lord's hum going on. I haven't turned the programme up, so I don't really hear that.
Stuck by 3, running.
This is the sound department. This is where we mix all the sound, produce what you guys hear at home. It's pretty tricky for us this year because obviously there's no crowd in. We get the most of our sound from the stump mics, which is the same as we've always done. So I'm just increasing them in the mix a little bit more, just so we get a little bit more ambience from the pitch and the players, and we hear a little bit more of what they're saying rather than the crowd.
So I'm the match director. I call the camera shots, but I'm listening to commentary all the time, trying to sort of respond to what they do.
There's a man out for the top-edged hook.
It's difficult with no crowd because you've got no sort of big moments. There are no crowd reaction shots to go to, and you've got lots of empty seats.
Through to wire cam.
We've got a wire cam which gives us a nice sort of aerial view of the field and fielding positions, and gives some lovely sort of some replays without showing too much empty stadium because it's at a height looking down. So, you know, we've really had to adapt our normal coverage to reflect the fact, A, that there's no one here, and B, that we're not allowed on the field with operators because they're not allowed to get too close to the players because of the risk of infection.
Weirdest thing I've ever known. It's a fantastic match. Everything's set up for a full house, and here I am, the only spectator in the house. So it's been quite a steep learning curve here. We've had to approach some entirely new science for us and translate it all to hosting an international cricket match at a stadium devoid of spectators, but still filled with people at risk of contracting this disease. The hotel isn't the way you would recognise it when it's normally open for business. You know, it's like a hospital in a way. Each team has its own floor in the hotel, and they're all separate and distinct. Every step being taken to ensure that that everybody gets through this game and stays well.
I'm the senior production manager for Sky Sports Cricket. There are around 100 people on site today, so my responsibility is to make sure everything is in the right place at the right time, and above all, safe in the COVID environment.
There'll be a testing regime, there's going to be screening, there'll be continual monitoring while you're on site, hand sanitization, deep cleaning of all of the venue itself. You know, those processes and those protocols have taken months to develop.
There's a big focus on health and safety, so we fill in 2 questionnaires every day, one for the ECB, one for Sky, to check that we haven't got any symptoms. Get our temperature checked on the way into the ground. Thanks, mate. And then there's hand sanitisers everywhere we go, so before we go in the trucks we sanitise our hands. So yeah, pretty comprehensive checks.
Any stakeholder that works in the sport, you know, we've got to make sure that we create a safe and secure environment for them. We've got to do whatever we can to put the game on. It's incredibly important for the sport.
This is one of the strangest but quickest commutes I've ever had. The bedrooms are here, we're all on the first floor at the moment. But if you come along, and I want to just sort of show you around, this is our green room. So I'm talking 10, 20 metres. Green room is where we hang out, we watch the cricket, we can see it live over the balcony. I want to just take you to the commentary box, which again it's a 20-second commute, which is amazing.
I like the idea actually of having to walk 2 minutes to go to work. 2 minutes away from my bedroom is the office, so that part of it I enjoy.
It's very, very different now. On the floor, you've got stickers which all are reminders about how close we can all stand between each other.
We've had to redesign the comm box. Normally the 3 commentators are really close to each other, but we've had to put one at one end, third man at the other end, and another one in the middle.
In fairness, NASA's social distancing is 2 metres, 20 metres, 30 metres, so no, really no difference.
Benedict, are you there? Hello, big buddy. How's Bristol? You're boring me now. Okay, thank you.
What you're trying to do is obviously limit the amount of movement in and out of the bubble as much as you can, because the more people move in and out of that environment, the more chances you've got of infection and spreading. So we've really got to be very careful with that.
The Chuckle Brothers. What's good? What do you recommend?
Sweet potatoes nice.
Yeah.
Pasta's nice. Keezy's been playing golf.
You're on a diet.
Oh, we on
Well,
it's pretty sterile, if truth be told. This is the dining area where we come for lunch and dinner. Tables are socially distanced, screens put up between the tables, logoed screens, of course, with the three lions and the crown. We've got to stand at least 2 meters away from Andy Zaltzman there, and we've all got to queue up for our food.
Please just help yourself with some sauces.
Thank you.
Cutlery is there.
Thank you very much.
The arrows to your seat.
But you know, the people who've done the work behind the scenes to get this on, it's incredible, so there's no point whinging or complaining about it, for sure. Oh, this is perfect for you though, isn't it? Dinner, bed, hotel at the ground.
Dinner, glass of wine, bed.
We would normally be staying at Winchester, wouldn't we?
Where are we in the world right now?
Southampton.
We are
We'd
at
normally
the
be at
Spot.
Winchester.
We'd be at the
in a nice pub by the river.
Me, you, Bumble, Ward would be in that pub by the river.
Followed by curry. Yeah. And now we've got school dinners.
Just cutting away beautifully for 4.
Danny Hendo, hi. Listen, I was just wondering if we could get Rory Burns in the player zone at tee.
Just have a look at it, and you'll know you do this. A little twitch there, and if I show you that from sideways on, you squat and then look towards mid-on. Why did that start? How did it start? And why do you still do it?
It started because I'm left-eye dominant, and I just felt at times that occasionally I could not turn my head quite as much, and almost with my trigger, then everything's going this way, and I'm falling over balls. So for me, it then became a real point of focus to try and actually squat down, get my left eye on the ball, so I'm then in a better position. So when I'm triggering, I'm more in line over my back foot.
We usually get a call from the commentary box to say that we want to speak to a player, and then we make our way to this marquee here. It doesn't look great from the outside, but wait till you get inside, there's some great innovation in there. And I think because of the biosecure situation, it is really good in terms of doing something a little bit different that we wouldn't see in during a normal match. And as always, Sky lead the way when it comes to innovation with things like this.
Perhaps the biggest innovation is the player zone, and that is remote access to players. We would normally do interviews before and after play, but we've also been asking players and backroom staff to come in and talk to us during the day.
I think the player zone's excellent, actually, but more important, the player zone is very easy to set up a player zone. The players have to buy into it. If they say, I don't want to go in there, why would I want to go into that? But they seem to have really bought into it from day one.
Thanks, big brother, day one.
You can come back and confess any time.
Danny Rubin, who's the media guy with England, I think he has to take a lot of credit for the way he's changed the sort of mindset of players and broadcasters, how we work together to try and promote the game. In these times now, where we've not had live sport for 3 or 4 months or however long it is, people want to hear from their superstars.
So I'm disappointed would be an understatement. You get disappointed if you drop your phone and break your screen. I've been frustrated, angry, gutted.
I think at first we were a little bit apprehensive, but once we got them in here, they actually enjoyed speaking to the commentators, giving some insight into what they go through, during a match situation. And I think it's been well received.
I had comments about where I grew up and that the fact that I had a long name, maybe my mum didn't know who my dads were, about my hair, about body parts.
And you hear some comments being passed. At that stage, I just thought, these people are sick.
This week will be remembered for Michael Holding and Ebony Rainford Brent, and I'm incredibly grateful for them being able to speak so honestly and so powerfully about their experiences.
My mother's family stopped talking to her because her husband was too dark. I know what they went through, and that came back to me immediately.
I saw the interview with Mikey yesterday, and I felt it in my veins, to be honest. To me, it was powerful. I think he hit the nail on the head. He was spot on.
I've had word and messages and emails from people that I've never even met, so it has been overwhelming.
I've been maybe more motivated than I ever have in my life to keep us talking about these issues.
The dehumanization of the black race is where it started. And people will tell you, oh, that's a long time ago, get over it. No, you don't get over things like that.
I thought it was breathtaking, really.
6 million people roughly have watched Michael Holding and Ebony do what they did.
I've been in team environments. Dealing constantly with people referring to your lot.
Evidence is clearly there that white lives matter. We want black lives to matter now. Simple as that.
These badges, it's not the political side of things, it's the message, and if that message has got out to that many people, then it was worth doing.
Victory for the West Indies, a most significant win for Jason Holder and his team, the West Indian people, and world cricket owes them a great debt for their commitment to this tour, and they've started in the most emphatic fashion, winning by 4 wickets here at the Ageas Bowl.
Very surreal. When the test match ended there, it normally ends with a great roar and show of emotion, which the players had out in the field, but I felt slightly sorry for them that there's nobody in the ground to recognise that.
I won't lie, I was worried coming into the week. You're never quite sure how it's going to go. Everything operationally has been incredibly smooth, everybody's behaved impeccably.
I think the entire cricket family has pulled together incredibly well here to get us to this point where we are.
The broadcast has gone incredibly smoothly. The people that have worked hard to put that together, both on the Sky side and the ECB side, have done an amazing job.
Fantastic effort from everybody to get this test match on, but I just don't have to commentate on too many tests without a crowd.
Hopefully by the time we get to 2021 season, we won't be in this position, and hopefully we'll be coming out of the virus at the back end of this.
Dream 11 IPL starts 19th September live on Willow.
He might still get England out of this, but it's so on a young man. I can tell you right here and now, in about 30 seconds time, there's going to be agony and ecstasy of the highest order in sport.
One England win, anything more New Zealand win.
This is the moment. It's Archer to Guptill. Guptill's going to push for two. They've got to go. Throws got to go to the keeper's end. He's got it. England have won the World Cup by the barest of margins. By the barest of all margins. Absolute ecstasy for England.
That is brilliant. What a way to end the game.
Archer has come up trumps.
What character from that young man.
It is just the most amazing scene here at Lord's.
Dream 11 IPL starts 19th September live on Willow.
right across the line, and Neil Mounders thought long and hard about that, and eventually he's given Salim Elahi out. So another disappointment for Elahi at Lords. He's gone for 15, and it's first blood to Darren Goff in England.
Well, this is a very strange shot. He's trying to pull it. The thing you have to consider is it outside the line or not?
Well, Afridi has launched that. It's gone many, many a mile over long on for 6. That's a magnificent stroke. It's 43 for 1. It's well bowled. Oh, that's unlucky. So unlucky. The fine leg has come up. Caddick has bowled a pretty good Yorker, and the inside edge has gone down to fine leg for 4. Edged and gone. A fairly soft dismissal in the end, but Caddick just got a little bit of extra bounce. Afridi looking to steer it down to third man, has been snapped up at slip by Trescothick. It's a good wicket for England because Afridi was just starting to look dangerous.
Yeah, it's a good delivery here from Caddick. Not a good shot from Afridi. Just cramped for room there. Tried to force it, hit high on the blade, and then through to Trescothick at first slip there. Very simple catch. Motoring along, so the second wicket down for 59.
Oh, bowled him round his legs. Inzamam has lost that completely. Unsettled by the first ball that he faced that wrapped him on the gloves. Caddick has followed it up with an absolute peach of a Yorker, and Inzamam has lost it completely. Out second ball yet again. Naught.
Well, fantastic over here from Caddick. 2 wickets in this over, and then that one there, Inzamam leaving the field now. And Naught, absolute beauty. Just look at this, he doesn't pick it up whatsoever. Straight at the base of leg stump. And Caddick is over the moon as the rest of the England side. Now he leaves the field for 0, and that is a very big blow by England.
That's found the gap. It's going up the hill towards the grandstand for 4. Pakistan's aggressive intent undimmed by the 2 wickets in that previous over.
Oh, what a great shot that is. Almost lazily picked up over wide mid-on. But it's given Johanna a boundary, and it's taken him up to 2,500 runs in one-day international cricket. It was a glorious way to bring up that milestone.
That could be out. It is out. And that, as much as anything, I put down to the maiden over that's just been bowled by Darren Goff.
Well, that's exactly right. The lesser bowler comes on from this end. You try to force the pace, try to force the shot that's not on it. Just carried to cover there. But he's just trying to play the shot that's not on. He's not to the pitch of the delivery. Just slices off the blade of the bat. Just gets to the fingertips there. Good catch, good piece of bowling, good piece of pressure from England.
Yunus Khan's gone then for 41. The partnership's broken. It's 140 for 4.
Lofted over the top of the infield. And that is 4 and 50. It's the first boundary for 83 balls, but it's enough to take Yusuf Johanna to consecutive one-day 50s in the NatWest series. It's the extra cover position again. Johanna picking up the length so early. Another classic shot. That one's gone finer, and it's gone for 4.
Yes, thank you.
Bowled him out. Frustrated by not being able to get the ball down to third man. Elam got his direction absolutely spot on, but that's a useful innings from Rashid Latif. But he departs now for 23.
Ball straight, you miss, I hit. And that's exactly what happened. Rashid Latif, bowled. Good bowling by Mark Elam. 190 for 5.
He's launched that. Mid-on is under it, and Darren Gough takes the catch. Took it very comfortably in the end. Saw it all the way from the middle of Abdur-Razzaq's bat. It's a brief stay from Razzaq. He's gone to a good catch from Gough off Mulally.
Yes, Pakistan struggling to hit boundaries in the last 10 overs or so. Abdur-Razzaq going for the big heave. Failed to clear long on, where Darren Gough took a nice easy catch. Straight down his throat. It's the end of Abdur-Razzaq. Gone for 3 in Pakistan, 195 for 6.
It's gone straight up in the air. And out. Awais Shah makes no mistake. Backtracking from mid-wicket. That is a big wicket for England. Yusuf Yohana has gone for a fine 81, but that's the wicket that England wanted at this stage, with 4.5 overs left.
Yes, that's a very, very big wicket for England. Once again, undone with a slow ball. Skied it high in the air. No problem whatsoever for Awais Shah. Nice soft hands. His eye on the ball. And Yusuf Yohana goes after playing another wonderful innings. It's been a magnificent touch.
Well, fine legs up, and that's a gifted 4. Nicely played by Azam Mahmood. A disappointing end for Alan Mulally. 10 overs, 2 for 47. It's 2-1-4 for 7. It's Cork to bowl the 49th. Edged away down to the pavilion for 4.
Still no slow delivery from Dominic Cork. A fast full toss, and all it required was an edge.
Bolt, top of middle and off, hit by that Darren Gough delivery. You miss, I hit, and he's hit there. That's the end of Malik.
Didn't have to bowl at that 91.1 miles an hour, that delivery. Slow one. Bowl at that 73 miles an hour. Hoodwink the batsman. Shoaib Malik trying to look for that room. Not there. Completely disguised slow delivery from Darren Gough, hitting the off stump. Good effort, Shoaib Malik. Scoring 9 of 8 balls, and Pakistan lose their 8th wicket for 237.
Well, that's found the gap, and that's away to that short boundary up to the new grandstand. So an early first boundary for England. Well, this time the stump is broken, and surely Nick Knight is a goner. Shoaib Malik, the fielder, and Knight's taking those gloves off. He's fearing the worst.
I think all the Pakistanis know that this is a wicket for them. They're all celebrating. Not too sure why they elected to take this run. A bit of hesitation, but even without the hesitation, I don't think Nick Knight would have made it. Look how far he is. He's almost 2 yards out. And he's a pretty quick runner, Nick Knight. Well, the red lights say it all, even if you are unable to read. Nick Knight goes, it's 6 for 1.
Oh, that's gone up in the air and missed. Yusuf Yohana, third man. Abdur-Razzaq cannot believe it. What a let-off for England.
First runs for Alex Stewart. It's a lovely shot too, straight down the ground. We'll get 4 for that. A boost in confidence. And maybe the shackles will come off. It's taken him 16 deliveries there to get off the mark. He's gone. That's the end of Alex Stewart. Yunus Khan just behind square on the offside there, takes a simple catch. Alex Stewart never really got to grips with his timing in this short innings. One sweet boundary, but that's it. He's on his way now.
Strange kind of a shot from Alex Stewart, playing away from the body to an away swinger. And in the air, straight to Yunus Khan, who made no mistake. Straightforward catch. And disappointment for that there. It's gone for 4, and England will lose their second wicket for 19.
Through the offside this time from Trescothick. Just enough on it. That's gone. That's a good catch. Azam Mahmood, a very, very good fielder. He's at second slip to take the catch. That's the end of Michael Vaughan.
Waqar Younis bowling with a lot of pace and fire and character. Remember, he's in his 6th over, and what a delivery. A quick one, an excellent one. On that off stump, a little shade away from the right-hander, pushing at that one, neatly taken in the second slip. Went at the right height, overjoyed Waqar Younis. It has been one very good effort. Not from the batsman. Michael Vaughan goes for naught. England 26 for 3.
Bit of width there. That's through the covers. That'll run away. Down the hill for 4. 4th boundary for Trescothick.
That's away. This time England have got a much-needed boundary. Not the most elegant shot, but it's gone for 4. That's all that matters. .50 for Marcus Trescothick. Not too many of those 50 runs have come off the middle of the bat. But he's hung on in there, even though his form hasn't been fluent.
Around the clock. Can he find that touch again after a short break? Here's Bumrah, ball 1. Now they've got to keep running, but remember they can't lose wicket early in the over. They cannot do that.
No, they can't.
For the thick end of an hour and a half, to find instant momentum, it's not easy at all. For that reason, the timing isn't there. Just 2 off 2. New Zealand boundary hunting, desperate shots. But which is the right one for this, the 3rd ball from Bumrah? It's that one, and it's a good one. Williamson. He now has scored over 100 runs in this match.
Oh, it's a wonderful shot. High pressure situation. Once again, he's reverted back to what he's so good at. Creating the angle, stepping a foot outside off stump. Bumrah didn't miss, but he missed his length. Giving Williamson a chance to use the angle. Hasn't got all of it. There's plenty of pace on Bumrah's offered.
Or does he change it up? Surely he'll take some pace off.
Slow and wide.
Oh, that's over the top. Kohli won't run that down either. 4 and a 6, so now that is 12 with 2 deliveries left.
He reverted to pace again. This time he's tried to follow Williamson, think he might go outside off stump. This time Williamson's gone the other way. Access it over. All he had to do was beat Virat Kohli at long off. It's a wonderful shot. This boundary's you're after, Mac.
There's still room for technique, isn't there, in this situation? Bumrah under pressure now. 2 balls to go. Oh, they've got to run it by. They will run it by. Nearly a collision. Williamson's job's done with the... Guptill on strike, last ball. Can he find a gap? Yes, he can! Big finish! That's really, really good from these two. 17. So India needs 17 to force us to another super over, or 18 to end the evening.
Well, really tough to know what a pass score is, but that's an excellent effort from Williamson. He got the ball rolling with that 6 over fine leg. Guptill's finish it. It's a full toss. Slightly over toss from Bumrah. Dragged it wide along on. 17. Good score.
Great score. 3 bounds. I want to see the Tim Souther Yorker.
Here we go. 17 to tie, 18 to win. First one. No timing. It was there to hit too. Can't afford to run out. Can't afford to run out. Can't. Oh! 2 off 1. An opportunity there for New Zealand to put so much early pressure on.
Of keeping an eye on my front foot, or where the crease is, or where I take off. So I'm trying to just, look at everything. And for me, when the ball comes out of my hand, it's a feel thing. So I want to feel the ball coming out in the right way, and that's how I know when it's a good ball or not. And what is that about right? Yeah, have I answered the question? Yeah. The other bit I think was, as I release the ball, my head actually looks at the floor, so it's not ideal, I don't think, but I also don't think it hinders me, because it comes up straight away and I can see, I get a picture of where the ball is before it's actually hit the ground. So it's just for that split second my head's looking at the floor.
John Ainsworth on that sort of subject emails, tms@bbc.co.uk, says, after breaking onto the international scene when you hadn't been playing county cricket for that long, there was then that sort of restructuring of your action, and then it sort of got rebuilt again. Where is it now compared to where it was, and what advice would you give to young bowlers and coaches about trying to improve actions without ruining their strength?
So my action now is actually, I'd say, very similar to what it was like at 14 or 15. During that period of probably from 2002 when I went on the academy, the first game I played in Australia, the first one-day game I ever played, I could see that I'd already started to change it. So it was from then to about 2005 or 6 that I was trying to load up almost like Brett Lee. So it was where, like now my hand, as I'm in the load position that we call, my hand's behind my head, pretty much. And they were trying to get me to, like Brett Lee has it by his hip, or had it by his hip when he bowled, and that's what they were trying to make me do. And I've seen footage of it now, and it looks horrible, it looks out of sync, it looks, just all over the place, and that's how I felt at the time. But they did it with all good intentions, trying to save my body and my back from injury. That's what they thought was going to happen if I kept going the way I did. But then I got a stress fracture, went back to my old action, and things got better from there. So I'd say, in terms of looking at young guys with their actions, young kids, boys and girls with their action, I wouldn't try and change too much, but you can. Like, I'm always tinkering, even now, with my action, trying to make sure it's as good as it possibly can be. And I think little changes are good. Unless you think someone's back's going to break or they're going to get serious injuries, then I don't think you should make wholesale changes just for the sake of it. Generally, if you've been bowling for a decent amount of time with that certain action, your body will be used to that. So just try and make little changes rather than big ones.
So what kind of little changes have you made recently?
So my arm at release, I've noticed has dropped a little bit, so it's sort of to the right of vertical. So I've been trying to get my arm back to vertical, because that, if my arm's the wrong side of it, it makes the in-swinger very hard to bowl. Need it to be sort of, when kids start learning to bowl, you talk about brushing the ear. So I've almost been doing that sort of drill, trying to brush my ear as I bowl. So things like that, just making sure my alignment's right. So that means sort of running at the batsman and not too steep an angle. So I felt like the first couple of tests this summer, the angle of my run-up was sort of towards fine leg almost, which is too steep to then, when you get to the crease, you've got to then fight yourself to get the ball back on line towards the batsman. So I've worked on the alignment there. And yeah, just generally trying to check everything's in working order. I mean, at this level, we're so fortunate that every ball's logged and videoed and slow-moed and everything, so you can check things and you can spot things maybe you wouldn't do if you're playing club cricket. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with the action.
I love that even you, having taken 600 test wickets, still are looking at the basics that, you tell an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old to do, the sort of, brush your ear as you're bowling. All those
yeah, well, absolutely. I think, it's the same whether you're batting or bowling. The basics never change. Getting yourself in a good position at the crease if you're a bowler, getting yourself in a good position if you're batting. Those basics never change. Obviously, everyone's got their own way of doing things, but I think as long as the basics are right and strong, then you should be okay.
Artif.
When they make the Jimmy movie, I'm hoping it's in pre-production already, but when they make the movie, who's going to play Jimmy Anderson, and also who's going to play those supporting roles? Like Stuart Broad, Andrew Stroud. Who are these guys going to be played by? Any thoughts?
No, I haven't got any thoughts on that.
Anyone whose work you admire, who you'd like to play in? I'll give you, when I spoke to Afridi, he wanted Tom Cruise to play him, just as a frame of reference.
Of course, okay. I've always liked Jim Carrey, and for a period at school, I was told that I looked like him because I was a bit goofy and stuff like that. So maybe him, maybe make it a comedy, and if he still does that.
He bowls left arm spin, doesn't he?
It's just not going to work. Keep your questions coming in. What's this? Daniel Suss, who says, I can't quite remember what the stat was. I think Jimmy was in contention to be the longest number of innings without being out for a duck, almost beating Viv Richards. This is more a question for you, Andy. So you need to get...
From memory, it was most innings before your first test duck.
Yes.
But you've certainly made up for it since.
Wow, thanks, Andy.
I mean, the joy of Test Match Special is you can go from the very highs to being brought right back down to earth in just a matter of days.
Yeah, it was 54 innings before my first Test Match duck, which I thought was a record, but might not be. But I remember my first duck was at the Oval. Ben Hilfenhaus got me LBW. I remember that probably more than I remember most of my wickets, to be honest. Sad day.
Important question, this actually from Andrew Buchanan. Will Stuart Broad keep the headband?
I think he will, yeah. Yes. Yeah, for a number of reasons. It's been lucky for him, and it covers his receding hairline also.
Who puts the most time and attention into their hair in that England team at the moment? Who's using more than 2 products on their hair? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. There've been a lot of headbands flying around though since lockdown, and only a few still sticking with it after we were allowed out to get our hair cut. So Joe Root is someone he has the hairband in. Chris Woakes, someone else as well. It's just perfect the whole time. So I'd be surprised if he's not using something.
Has there been any kind of conversation about grooming products and different kinds of shampoo? Has this been happening on the balcony in a rain delay? You need to try a bit of this, or maybe you need to try a bit of this.
No, it's not. Unfortunately not. There's more important things to talk about than what shampoo we're using. Sorry.
Question from me, Jimmy. Where, in terms of the highs of your career, the 600 wickets, and then the lows being asked about hair products by Atif Nawaz, have you ever had a week with a greater disparity in it? In Test match cricket. Jan on the A1 with a proper question. Did you ever try bowling spin? We've seen Jofra Archer bowling a bit of spin in practice.
Yeah, I always try and bowl left arm spin, and I did this as a kid because I could never bowl the leg spinner. My two mates I played a lot of cricket with were right-handed. I could never get the ball to spin away from them, so I found the best way was to bowl left arm, and I've done that ever since, and it's reasonable. Once got Ian Bell out in the nets with it in South Africa, so yeah, I'll keep practicing. I think it's better than Jofra's, but obviously he'd say different.
I think that if the fast bowling, if you get to the point where the body won't take the fast bowling, I'm all for and that would cause havoc for Andy's stats machine as well.
Turn into a spinner.
Yeah, I'm really keen.
In those kind of rainy sessions, when it's raining and the light comes down a little bit and the umpires kind of have that word, which they sometimes do, sometimes don't, where you need to put some spinners on here. In those sessions, have you ever been tempted to just cut down the run-up and just bowl a little bit of spin?
I asked Joe in the last game, the light got bad on the fourth day, I think, and he and Don Best bowled, and I asked to bowl, because I was bowling from the end that Joe came on at, and I said, can I bowl an over a spin, and it was a definite no from him.
The record was most innings for England without being out for a duck, 54. The players who are ahead of you on the list. Ross Taylor, 58 innings. Clive Lloyd, 58 innings. Aravinda de Silva, 75, and A.B. de Villiers, 78. So it's quite a good list of batsmen.
Yeah.
To be involved.
As you say, I've made up for it since.
Yeah, 26 ducks. Second most fine England player.
Andy, stop it. Right. Out in the middle, there is movement, and I don't know if it is movement that suggests we're going to see play or movement that suggests they're giving up, because the umpires have had what looks like the crucial conversation, because they've been gathering on the far side of the ground, and then there was a long look towards the ground staff, and now a flurry of activity. So that means possibly we're going to see some play. And actually, there are a couple of members of the ground staff that are getting on board the little tractors with the rope between them. That is normally the last thing that is done before play can take place. So that is sweeping the surface water off so it'll drop down off the blades of grass into the soil, and that is now happening. I just think, from what we can see, that we might be in for some cricket in due course. We'll get confirmation when we can, but that's my guess at the moment. So we'll wait and see once we have more from you. For you, Janet Ryman-Jones, I'm not going to read this as a question, Jimmy. It is more a statement, and I think we can all agree with it. To hear Jimmy Anderson, such a modest man, exactly what you would hope that a sportsman would be, such a huge example to other sportsmen, especially footballers, and for children to follow. We're just incredibly lucky to have had the privilege of watching him over the years. And speaking of football, and we saw this, I don't know who the question was from, it's disappeared down the mountain of questions we had, but who's your favourite Burnley player? It's a good question.
Current?
I think we go all time.
All time? Well, so one of my other heroes growing up was Ian Wright. So when Burnley were in the 4th division, this is going to sound bad to a lot of die-hard football fans out there, but when Burnley were in the 4th division, a lot of my friends at school had a second team, and a lot of them were Man United. I wanted to be a bit different, so I chose Arsenal. And Ian Wright was a huge hero, so I had him on the back of my Arsenal shirts I had growing up. And then he signed for Burnley when I was actually working in the ticket office. So I actually met him he walked through the ticket office to sort of introduce himself to everyone. So I think he only played a handful of games for Burnley, but scored some memorable goals, and he's one of my favourite Burnley players. But the other one is Glenn Little, who was winger, tricky winger, who was amazing in that sort of similar period in the sort of mid to late 90s. Yeah.
There we go. Have you thought about, this is from George Garrett, getting the 25 wickets you need to reach 1,000 in first-class cricket? You might be the last to reach the landmark, says George.
I haven't thought about it. I didn't realise I was that close.
There's always another landmark, Jimmy.
Darren Steams is only about 400 away, so let's not rule it.
I think so. Glenn Chappell, who I'm good friends with, he's about 14 away. Obviously, he's not played for a few years, but we keep trying to coax him out of retirement. He's not actually officially retired. We keep trying to get him to play just a few games for Lancashire to get that 1,000. But I didn't realise I was that close, so hopefully I'll play enough to get there.
Let's see if we've got any more coming through.
I've got
go for Andy.
Question about your personal evolution as a bowler. I was looking at the stats when you reached the 600 of the first 200, your middle 200, and your last 200 wickets. And the last 200 average 21, economy rate 2.4. Your first 200 were average about 31, and economy rate 3.3, which is a massive difference. What changing your bowling, was it simply a matter of experience and sort of learning how to control it? Did you bowl in a different way, less sort of searching for wickets? What sort of explains that, the extent of that change?
I personally think it was just experience, getting to know my game. When I first started, I guess in that first 200 wickets, I'd have spells when I knew exactly where the ball was going, and those spells became more frequent as I got older and more experienced and more used to things like that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the last few years even I keep improving, keep getting better. That's why I want to carry on going, because looking at the stats like that, I didn't realise that there was that sort of disparity, especially economy rate. Like to come down almost a run in those years is quite a big thing. So for me, I think it's just a case of getting used to knowing where the ball's going, being confident in. I'm pretty sure that if I went out there and bowled a ball now in my jeans and shirt, I could hit the top of off stump. So it's kind of just being confident in your own ability as well.
We look forward to that in the concourse tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much. We're going to let you go and have a break now, because you've been talking for ages and ages, and to be honest, with the questions we've got, we could have kept on talking all night. But thank you, Jimmy. I know that I speak on behalf of not only all of us, but everyone listening, and we've had some lovely messages from people that have been enjoying their Friday night. We've not had live cricket for the last hour or so, but we have been hearing from the man that took his 600th Test wicket earlier this week, and he swapped his England whites for commentary duties on Test Match Special, and it is a real privilege to have him as part of the BBC team, and a BBC team that on Sunday will be on BBC One for the first time since 1999, live cricket featuring England on BBC television. So that is on Sunday, 1:45, the second T20 international between England and Pakistan. So look out for that one. And don't forget, because there has been this question popping in on social media as well, we'll still be here on Test Match Special too. So don't worry at all if you're out and about, or you might be in the garden. Jennifer Moore says, whilst we're going to be watching on Sunday on BBC One, will TMS still be available on 5 Live Sports Extra? It will, Jennifer, absolutely. We'll be here to bring you the radio coverage too. But BBC One, 1:45 on Sunday is where you can watch the second T20 between England and Pakistan, and that'll be featuring Isha, Jimmy, Tuffers. All the team will be there, and it should be a really good occasion, and the forecast is much better than we've seen today. So, and also, as I'm reminded, Shan Masood will be in the team. I'm not sure anyone's told him that Jimmy's also in the team, considering the record that Shan Masood has against James Anderson. He may not be that keen to face him once again, even in more friendly circumstances. James Anderson has left to have a well-earned break. Atif Nawaz is still with me, as is Andy Zoltzman. The news from the middle, I promised I would bring you some, and we've got the following, I can tell you. We've had a message to say that ground staff are working very hard to try and get the ground ready for a 9:19 start. That's what we need if we're going to have a 5-over match with Pakistan getting in 5 overs. And England, of course, will have stopped batting at this point. They were marooned on 131 for 6 in the 17th over. And Pakistan need to bat 5 overs to constitute a match. So that's the minimum we can have, and we need to be started by 9:19 to get there. And a little bit of additional information, the outfield is very wet. So we're not completely off, but we're by no means on, Atif. So a little bit of frustration, and we've still got a bit of a wait.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes it every single game this summer that Pakistan have played against England has been rain affected to some degree, and this all upset them a lot. I mean, they were getting their way back into this game. I mean, England were kind of limping their way to 150, which would have been, kind of a middling total, not a dominant total. Pakistan, with their kind of gunslingers, would have expected to chase that down. And of course, we haven't really had a look at the Pakistan batsmen either. There was a lot of controversy about the way they picked their team, and a lot of anger on social media about the inclusion of some of the more experienced players and the exclusion of some of the new, younger, talented players that we've heard a lot about. Heather Ali missing out and Hushtil missing out. Azhar Mahmood off Test match special, and now England bowling consultant went on and on about how much he fancied Hushtil and how his style would suit these conditions. But yeah, I mean, we haven't really learned too much, really, and this is sad from a Pakistani perspective. From an England perspective, if they do have sort of a 5-over game, which is what they're suggesting is the best that we can hope for at this stage, again, it goes to a bit of a lottery stage. It's very hard to, think of it as a full-blown contest, and there'll be a lot of disappointment in the air either way.
Hyder Ali, a player you mentioned that's not in the squad, 19 years old. He's not made his T20 international debut as yet, and a lot spoken about him. One of these players that's been given one of the emerging contracts, a sort of a band down from the main centrally contracted players, but part of the Pakistan cricket setup as an emerging player. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he played some really stylish cricket in the most recent edition of the PSL, where he played for the Peshawar Zalmi team, and again, nothing was known about him. He hadn't played too much first-class cricket. A young man, fresh onto that big stage, and he played some absolutely stunning knocks. And when we talk about T20, often you look at sort of 50 or 60 on a scoreboard, and you imagine, I reckon there were quite a few through cow corner, across the line, that kind of thing. With him, he's a very pure player. He plays some classy shots. He creates strokes from out of nowhere. He's almost like a Pakistani Jos Buttler, really. If you think about the way Jos Buttler played a couple of years ago, building that reputation as one of the most destructive T20 players in the world. I mean, he's very much in that vein. People have already started comparing him to the likes of Babar Azam, and so we're very, very keen to see more of him at some stage, and certainly at this level, international cricket. But we'll have to wait, because if Pakistan have opted to leave him out in this game, it wouldn't make sense for him to play in the next game either, because the batsmen haven't had a run yet. So how would you justify excluding somebody without them performing?
Some bad news for you, everybody. I'm afraid the message we're getting is that with huge regret, the umpires have called the match off. The outfield just too wet to get the game back on. So I'm afraid to say it is a no result for this first match of the 3-match T20 series. We had huge frustration in Southampton with those 2 badly rain-affected test matches, and I'm afraid to say the first T20 has fallen the way of the weather as well. Andy Zoltan.
This is the 9th T20 International at Old Trafford. The 3rd no result. 1 was completely abandoned, so only 5 out of 9 have been finished. Sorry to add further to the debate about Manchester weather that's been rumbling on all summer, but yes, disappointing.
Disappointing indeed. And what you missed in the game, in the 16.1 overs that we had, was some encouragement from England's batting. There was a little bit of a collapse towards the end, but certainly with Tom Banton, there was, I think, his finest innings in an England shirt. England's innings got off to a poor start when they were asked to bat. Johnny Bairstow out in the first over, caught and bowled Imad Wasim for 2. But then a good partnership worth 71 runs between Tom Banton and David Malan. Malan falling for 23, a horrible run out. Banton was the next to go. He'd made 71 from 42 deliveries, 4 4s, 5 6s. You can see those on the BBC Sport website and app, and on the highlight show at 11:20 this evening on BBC Two as well. David Malan that partnership between Malan and Banton, that was really the standout. Owen Morgan fell for 14 LBW to Iftikhar Ahmed. Moeen Ali was caught behind brilliantly by Mohamed Rizwan for 8, and then Lewis Gregory, the final wicket to fall in the England innings, stumped by Rizwan off Imad Wasim. Sam Billings not out on 3, Chris Jordan not out on 2. In terms of the wicket takers, 2 apiece for Imad Wasim and Shadab Khan. Iftikhar Ahmed with the 1 wicket. So that's where the game was left, at 131 for 6. It's a real shame because it felt like it was very nicely poised. But there we go, no opportunity for a full game in this first T20 International. The good news, though, is we did get a wonderful opportunity for a podcast that is available to download with James Anderson answering your questions. Some amazing answers, some amazing questions as well, so thank you for them. That'll be available later on this evening on BBC Sounds. T20 Blast commentary continues tomorrow on the BBC Sport website and app. The second T20 International is on Sunday, live on BBC One, and of course available on 5 Live Sports Extra on Test Match Special from 1:45 p.m. Thanks for your company this evening. We'll speak to you on Sunday.
Well,